If you can believe it, 2024 is already a month ago, and I'm finally getting into my recaps. Overall, 2024 was a very mid-year in and outside of theme parks. There were a slew of roller coaster problems from delayed projects or rides that didn't even open. If you didn't even leave the United States, the roller coasters that we got were mostly on the weak side, minus a couple. I also didn't get to visit many parks like I have in the past. The amount of roller coaster credits I added to my list was extremely small. In fact, the list is short enough that I can breeze through a ranking of these rides with one bonus honorable mention. Before we get to this list, please do me a favor and click on that like button. Newcomers to my channel that love roller coasters, be sure to subscribe. Number 6, Snoopy's Soapbox Racers at Kings Island. These past couple years, I'm calling the year of the family coasters. Theme parks have been putting more emphasis on family, including the rides that they are building and the areas in the park that they are enhancing. Kings Island added another family coaster to their already decent family coaster collection with Snoopy's Soapbox Racers. This is a Vekoma family boomerang. Like all coasters of this style, the ride is not a continuous circuit. The train is pulled backwards out of the station and up a surprisingly taller lift than I was expecting. The coaster is then released and the ride travels forward through the figure-8 layout that leads into a spike. The coaster stalls out and rolls backwards through the entire layout until you return to the station. Thrill-wise, this is basically a step up from their kiddie coaster and maybe even a step down from Woodstock Express. Overall, the coaster is an excellent fit for their demographic it's aiming for, and that's the younger kids. Number 5, Iron Menace at Dorney Park. If you watched my review of Iron Menace, you know I'm not a fan. This was the most disappointing roller coaster in 2024. The ride had potential, with its beyond vertical drop, exciting elements, and compact layout. Dorney was even stepping it up with the theming, which got me even more excited. Well, at the end of the day, it was B&M who let us down with its subpar alignment. It could be the trains, I really don't know, but there are sections of this ride, most notably just before entering the brake run, where the track feels off, throwing the train side to side. Even with the vest restraints, I couldn't help but consider this ride a headbanger. Sitting in an outer wing seat, especially towards the back of the train, is out of the question unless you enjoy headaches. Now, I guess this take isn't true for everyone. My wife didn't really think the ride was too bad, but yeah, I really thought this coaster was rough. I rode this roller coaster multiple times because I couldn't believe how rough a brand new roller coaster could be. This coaster alone makes me concerned about upcoming projects by B&M, as even their other new coasters in 2024 had some rough spots as well. Number 4, Canyon Coaster at Canyon Coaster Adventure Park. If I'm going to fly to the opposite end of the country, I have to add at least one new roller coaster credit to my list. Canyon Coaster is a mountain coaster located at Canyon Coaster Adventure Park. It's about 45 minutes from the entrance of Grand Canyon, or like 20 minutes from Flagstaff. It makes for a nice pit stop on your journey there, and that's exactly what we did. The ride is pretty long with 1 mile of track which weaves down the mountainside. The views are pretty impressive, and the ride provided some decent laterals. Overall, if you've been on a mountain coaster, you kind of know what to expect, but yeah, this is a pretty decent one and serves as a nice, as I said already, pit stop when you're heading to other attractions in Arizona. Number 3, Penguin Trek at SeaWorld Orlando. This is the other B&M roller coaster I managed to ride, and even though it is better than Iron Menace, the ride still has its problems. The biggest would be the rattle, but unlike Iron Menace that will give you a headache, the rattle on Penguin Trek is a non-issue. I loved how the ride has a dark ride portion, something that we really don't see much at a SeaWorld park. The launches were nice, providing more of a kick than I anticipated. The layout was okay, really leaning into that family coaster status. Now, if I were to compare this with something similar like Big Bear Mountain at Dollywood, I would say Big Bear is the superior coaster. It has more exciting elements and still manages to keep it within that safe family coaster rating. For those who love penguins, will enjoy this coaster as the ride lets out into the penguin exhibit. With that, though, is another problem. Everyone is forced to filter through the penguin area, which is a process of its own getting in and out. Those who want to marathon penguin trek will have a tough time being bottlenecked through this exhibit. Number 2, Tron Light Cycle Run at Walt Disney World: The Magic Kingdom. Even though Tron opened to the public in 2023, I didn't make it to Magic Kingdom until 2024. I must say though, the wait was well worth it. As a fan of the Tron franchise, I love how well the theming and music was incorporated into this ride. The use of LED lights are top notch, which is why you need to stop by at night to experience the full potential of this roller coaster. The launch is by far the most thrilling part of the ride, providing a nice kick. It's easily the most thrilling attraction at Magic Kingdom and amongst the top 5 in Disney World. The biggest letdown of the ride would be its ride time. Most would expect a little more out of a Disney coaster, but Tron flies through the coaster in under 1 minute. Tron feels like it's missing that second launch, but regardless though, what we have is still a top-notch roller coaster that is my new favorite at Disney World. Before we get to my number 1 pick, I have an honorable mention, which isn't a roller coaster: Falcon's Fury at Busch Gardens, Tampa. I know it's not a roller coaster, but definitely worth bringing up. What makes this ride so special is what I accomplished riding it. To provide context, back in 2012, I rode Windseeker at Cedar Point and got stuck on that ride for nearly 4 hours. Ever since then, my desire to ride drop towers or similar attractions has, well, we say, diminished. Well, after a few years of visiting and not riding Falcon's Fury at Busch Gardens, I thought it was time to finally reconquer my fear of drop towers. Falcon's Fury stands over 300 feet tall and features a unique element. Once the gondola reaches the top of the tower, the seats start to tilt in until the riders are at a 90-degree angle, looking straight down to earth. Now that I finally went back on another drop tower, this has opened the doors, and I have since been on others, including the Triple Towers at Hershey Park. Number 1, Top Thrill 2 at Cedar Point. I started out the year with a bang. At the very last minute, Kara and I decided to go to one of the Top Thrill 2 season holder preview nights. We were only able to get one ride, but I must say it was worth it. Top Thrill 2 exceeded my expectations in many ways. The swing launch, though not as intense as the original Top Thrill Dragster, I was surprised with the kick it provided. Traveling backwards at 100 miles per hour was another added bonus. Unlike the original, where you only experienced that top speed for a fraction of a second, Top Thrill 2 sends you down the entire launch track at full speed before flying up into the giant top hat element. Top Thrill 2 is longer, more exciting, and I love the added theming elements like the music playing as you roll out onto the launch track. It's a shame that Top Thrill 2 ran into technical problems that left it SB&O for the rest of 2024, but Cedar Point is already back saying it will be ready to ride here in 2025. Well, that's my ranking. Tell me your favorite roller coasters of 2024 down in the comments. Until next time, this is X Screen Thrills.